Welcome to Cooking with Cody. It's December. You know what that means?
Snow?
It's actually 75 degrees.
Christmas?
That was yesterday.
The winter solstice?
It's winter! It's gumbo season! It's starting to get cold outside, so you're going to need something to either warm you up or cure that holiday party hangover. Talking to you. Today I'm bringing you into my kitchen to make some chicken and sausage gumbo. Gumbo is a Cajun stew popular in southern Louisiana. A lot of people tell me they can't cook, so I ask them, can you read? Well, today you don't even have to read, just follow along with me. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get our chicken in, and we're going to go ahead and season it. I like to use chicken thighs. You can use any kind of chicken you want. Chicken thighs are fatty, they're hard to burn or ruin. You want to make sure and salt and pepper both sides. Just want to use about a teaspoon on each side. A little grapeseed oil. Pepper how much? Just enough. Now that we've got our chicken seasoned, we're going to go ahead and turn our oven on broil. We're going to go with high and let it warm up. While we're waiting on that to go ahead and heat on up, we can go ahead and prep our Trinity. I'm going to go ahead and start by cutting off the ends of the celery, 2 stalks of celery. If you cook this, sometimes it'll get a little bitter, so we're going to go ahead and negate that. Next is going to be our bell pepper. You can cut this however you'd like. Personally, I like to take a paring knife, cut down into the top, just like a pumpkin. Cut the top of this bad boy out. Seeds, everything comes right out. And go ahead and begin to dice these guys up. You don't have to worry about dicing these up too fine. They will cook down. You just need to get it kind of small. This is a really large bell pepper. You don't really need this. You can go with a standard size. This is just kind of what they had, so that's kind of what I'm cooking. And the last ingredient for the Trinity is going to be this onion. You can go ahead and cut this guy in half like so. And get the peel off, skin off, whatever you want to call it, get it off. Now that we've got the skin off of this onion, I'm going to teach you a little trick. Okay, what you want to do is you want to cut down the onion, not all the way to the root, but most of the way. You're going to fan this thing out like so, turn it sideways, and then cut it. And it's going to dice it perfectly for you. Now that we've cut up the Holy Trinity, the onion, the celery, the bell pepper, we're going to move on to the dainty garlic. So what you're going to want to do is be very careful with this garlic. It's very delicate. You're going to want to take a meat cleaver like so and smash it. Is this a good idea? Yes. Is this fun? Absolutely. We want to use a lot of garlic. It's up to you. 5, 7, 10, however many you want to use. Saves a lot of time, you don't have to mince it. And it's fun. 1 for extra measure. And now we got the garlic out of the way, we're going to go ahead and slice up this jalapeno. You want to cut it along the outside, and the idea here is to go ahead and keep the seeds with the center. Now if you get a couple seeds left in your jalapeno, whatever, it's gumbo. I mean, it's hot. It is what it is. Go ahead and take your center here, toss it. Now we got this jalapeno here, de-seeded. We're gonna go ahead and dice this up. You don't have to worry about dicing it too fine. We are making a stew, and this will cook down, but you wanna get it to a nice dice, the same as everything else. Again, this is one of those things where you can make it your own. If you want more jalapenos after you make it the first time, have at it. Throw as much in there as you want. Make it yours. Again, this is just the foundation to a good gumbo. You can do it however you'd like. Now that our oven's finished preheating, we're going to go ahead and take these chicken thighs here. We're going to put them in the oven. We're going to roll them for about 8 minutes each side. We want to turn halfway through and get a good sear on the outside. Now we've got about 8 minutes on one side, so we're going to go ahead and open this thing up. Take our chicken out. Take a little look at it, a little look-see. Not quite there. We may have to do a little bit longer than 8 minutes per side. Basically what you want is this chicken to be nice and crispy on the outside. We're not looking to cook it all the way through. We're more so looking for it to just be seared on the outside. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back in, and we're gonna broil it for another 8 minutes, and then we're gonna have to just keep checking it. So it looks like our chicken may be done. It took a little longer than the 16 minutes I was looking for. We did about 20 minutes all together, and that's what we're looking for. A nice golden brown outside. I'm gonna go ahead and take this chicken, set it aside in a bowl, and let it cool. So now we've made it to the fun part. We're gonna go ahead and start our dark roux. We're gonna put it on medium low to start, get our oil warmed up. I'm going to put 1/4 a cup of grapeseed oil in here. Once it starts to smoke a little bit, we'll know it's ready, and then we're gonna go ahead and add 1/4 cup of flour to this roux. And we're looking for a dark roux. What's the difference between a light roux and a dark roux? Well, a light roux or a blonde roux is a good thickening agent. The darker your roux gets, the better the flavor. However, it will not thicken it as much. But because this is a stew, we're not looking for a gravy. We're looking for something with flavor. How do you know if your roux is burned? Well, when you're stirring it, you'll start to see black specks in the bottom, and that means you've burned it. And when you've burned it, there's no coming back from that. Don't worry yourself too much if you do it. Toss it out. It's gone. You can't use it anymore. There's no saving a burned roux. Well, it looks like our oil is up to temp. A good way to tell is take a little pinch of flour, sprinkle it in. If you get a little fizzly pop, you know it's ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this 1/4 a cup of flour in there, and you start stirring. You'll see that right out the gate, it starts to turn blonde or white. It'll start as a white roux. Slowly it'll progress to a blonde roux, but what we're looking for is a dark roux because we're making some good Southern Louisiana gumbo today. You can't overstir a roux, but you can burn a roux. What we're shooting for with this dark roux is a milk chocolate color. This roux at this temp is going to take me about 15 minutes. If it takes you 45, that's completely fine. I used to live in Biloxi, Mississippi. I was actually stationed on Keesler Air Force Base. I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps. I was stationed down there as a meteorologist, so we used to take a lot of trips over to New Orleans. And obviously when you're traveling, you want to get some good food. So this is one of those things we used to get all the time. It looks like we're there. We've got this dark enough. We're gonna go ahead and add our bell peppers. Now this is gonna go quick. We're gonna steam these vegetables up in this roux. Our onion. Get our celery in there, our jalapeno. What we're looking for is these onions to go ahead and get translucent. Add some salt. I'd say about a teaspoon of salt. And that's gonna go ahead and bring some of this moisture out of these vegetables. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add our garlic. And what we're looking for is those onions to get translucent. And this is the part where we're gonna add some beer. I like to use a nice amber ale. You can use whatever you would like. Whatever works for you, have at it. This is your recipe. Take what I'm giving you and adjust it. Have at it, man. Who cares? If it sucks, don't make it again. We're gonna go ahead and add 1 full beer. You kind of want to add your beer in nice and slow, a little bit at a time. This is just like a gravy at this point. If you just dump your whole beer in there, which we're shooting for 12 ounces, a full bottle or can, if you add it all at one time, it will get lumpy. Nobody likes anything lumpy. You want to keep stirring this until the alcohol is evaporated. You never want to have raw alcohol in a final product. It'll take a lot of the flavor that we've worked so hard to get into this gumbo right out. And at this point, we're going to slowly start to add 5 cups of chicken stock. So you want to go ahead and take your chicken thighs, go ahead and add them to the mix. No need to chop them up, no need to cut them. We're gonna cook this for 3 hours. So by the end of this chicken's gonna be falling apart. Now we can go ahead and add a teaspoon of fresh thyme, around 5 basil leaves. Toss them in. Now we're gonna add a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, because why not? Okay, now we can go ahead and add about a 1/2 tablespoon of salt. You can go a little lighter on the salt. You can always put more in. You can't take salt out. Move on to our pepper. We want about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yes, that's a lot of pepper, and that's what it takes to make good gumbo. All right, at this point, we're ready to move on to the andouille sausage. If you can't find that, keep looking, because andouille is where it's at. We want a pound of andouille. We're not gonna do anything fancy with this. We wanna go ahead and cut it into some medallions. All right, now we've got our andouille cut up. We're gonna go ahead and transfer this on over to our gumbo. Now we've got our sausage in here. We want to bring it up to a nice medium heat. Once we get it simmering, we want to go ahead and reduce the heat, cover it, and let it go for 3 hours. Stirring it every 30 minutes or so. You don't want to let it go too long without stirring it because it will burn on the bottom. All right, now you can see we've got some bubbles going here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is reduce that down to as low as she goes. And I'll see you guys in 3 hours. So I've gone ahead and made some white rice. The gumbo is basically done. Last step here, we're going to go ahead and cut up some green onion for garnish. Not necessary, but why not? Two scoops because that's the right amount. A little bit of rice. Ta-da! Chicken and sausage gumbo. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video if you like the recipe. I'll see you next time. This is so good. Thanks for watching Cooking with Cody.